Hey, what's going on? It's Daniel Gillespie here with UponArriving.com, and in this video, I'm going to give a full review of the Amex Hilton Surpass card and talk about when you may or may not want to apply for this card. But before jumping in, if you're new to this channel, I've been blogging about miles and points for the past 5 years, and on this channel, I cover a wide variety of credit card related topics. So if you're into that type of stuff, be sure to subscribe and hit that little bell icon so that you don't miss out on anything. So the first factor I want to talk about is the welcome bonus, because the Surpass is one of those cards that comes with a lot of different types of bonuses. Now, some of the best bonuses that we've seen for this card are offers that come with 150,000 Hilton points and sometimes even an additional $100 statement credit. So those are probably the best offers that you're going to find right now. But some of my favorite offers have been a little bit different. So recently, the Surpass card offered an offer with 130,000 points and an additional free weekend night certificate. Now, if you know anything about Hilton free night certificates, it's that you can use them on virtually any property, including those super expensive properties like the Conrad Maldives that sometimes can go for $1,000 or more per night. So my advice would be to try to wait around until you find one of these Surpass offers with the free weekend night. But if you can't, you could still jump on an offer with something like 130 or 150,000 points, and that can still get you pretty far. That could cover at least one night at a top tier resort, which goes for 95,000 points generally, or you could even stretch that into maybe 2, maybe 3 nights at a mid-tier property, so you can still come out on top if you can't find that free weekend night. By the way, if you want to find out just how to use that free weekend night certificate and to find out some examples of some of the top properties around the world to use it at, be sure to check out the link in the description below. So the next factor that you want to consider is your eligibility. So this card comes with the standard Amex credit card application rules, like the 1.5 rule, the 290 rule, and the 4 or 5 credit card limit rule. Now, if you don't know about these rules, I would suggest for you to check out Wallet Flow. It's an easy way for you to find out all of the credit card application rules for all of the major issuers, and if you input your credit card details, you can actually get the calculations for those rules automated. But in addition to those credit card rules, there also is a special once per lifetime rule. So if you are familiar with American Express cards, you know that there is something known as the once per lifetime rule, which just states that you can only get a welcome bonus once per lifetime, subject to some exceptions. Well, for the Amex Hilton Surpass card, there's actually an additional rule that applies here, and it states that you can't get the bonus for the Surpass if you had the Ascend before. So remember that the Surpass was known as the Ascend before, and before it was the Ascend, it was also the Surpass. I know it's very confusing, but apparently Amex just changed their mind about what they wanted to call their card, and so that's what we're left with. But once again, if you want to just automate your eligibility and make sure that you are doing your calculations right, just check out Wallet Flow and you'll see all of these rules that apply and just how they work. So one quick word about strategy. As much as I love the Amex Hilton Surpass, I would not go for this card if I were under Chase's 524 rule. I would first seek out other cards like the Ink Preferred or the Sapphire Preferred or Reserve well before I go after a Hilton Surpass card, and that's just because the Surpass offers do come around a lot, so it's not that difficult to find a good offer throughout the year. So the next thing you're going to look at is bonus categories, and this is one area where the Surpass shines pretty well, especially whenever you look at the purchases at Hilton properties. So the Surpass is going to earn 12x on your Hilton purchases, and if you value Hilton points at about half a cent per point, then that's going to come out to 6% back on your Hilton stays, which is extremely competitive and on par with some of the best travel cards out there like the Sapphire Reserve. So it's also going to earn you 6x at US supermarkets, restaurants, and gas stations. Now, again, if you value Hilton points at half a cent per point, you're looking at 3% back on those categories, which is competitive. It's not the best out there, but if you are putting your Hilton spend toward those categories, you're not really doing a bad job. And then finally, you'll earn 3x on all other purchases. So this comes out to about 1.5% back, which is not bad. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that Hilton is known for running a lot of promotions, and oftentimes their promotions are tied to whether or not you are a Hilton card member. So if you have a card like the Aspire or maybe like the Surpass, sometimes you can actually earn more on those promotions. So in many cases, you may be earning 12x on your card as a base rate, but you might end up earning a lot more than that due to these special promotions. So the next factor to look at is elite status. So the Hilton Surpass comes with Hilton Gold Elite status, which is one of my favorite mid-tier elite statuses due to the fact that it offers free breakfast, and at times you can even get lounge access if you get the right kind of upgrade. Now, Hilton Gold status does offer some additional benefits. I'm talking about things like upgrades, late checkout, an 80% bonus on your base points, and also the 5th night free whenever you use your points. So there's a lot of value potential with Gold status, but the fact that you get it automatically with the Aspire is very significant. Now, it also is worth mentioning that the Platinum card from American Express also offers you automatic Hilton Gold status, so there are 2 ways to get this status instantly. And finally, you can also spend $40,000 in a calendar year to earn Hilton Diamond status. Now, I am not interested in doing this because the Hilton Aspire card gives you automatic diamond status just by getting approved for it. So I would much rather go that route than spending 40 grand in a year just to get diamond status. The next factor to consider is that the Surpass gives you Priority Pass membership. Now, this is not a normal Priority Pass membership where you have unlimited access to lounges throughout the year. In this case, they actually limit you to 10 lounge visits per year. Now, the cool thing about this is that you should be able to use these as you please, meaning that if you walked into a lounge with 4 other people, you could potentially use 5 out of those 10 passes in order to get access for yourself and for them as well. So this type of membership really is great for someone who doesn't need unlimited access to lounges. Maybe you don't do a crazy amount of travel, and at times you think you may be traveling with a group of family or friends and you want to make sure that they can get into the lounge with you. Well, the Surpass is really a great fit for that. The next thing to know is that the Surpass is going to give you a free weekend night if you spend $15,000 in a calendar year. $15,000 is actually pretty obtainable for a lot of people, and because of the potential high value for a free night, I think this is one of the few annual bonuses that I actually think is worth pursuing at times. So the Hilton Surpass also is going to come with some purchase protections. It's going to offer you an extended warranty on warranties of 5 years or less. You can get an additional year on that. And it's also going to offer you purchase protection, although note that the purchase protection limit for the Surpass is only $1,000, which is much lower than a lot of other premium cards that may offer something like $10,000. So I would not probably want to put any big purchases on this card for that benefit. So the annual fee for this card is $95, which is pretty easy to justify in my opinion. If you spend $15,000 in a calendar year, that free weekend night is going to give you way more value than $95 in a lot of cases. So I would consider that a complete offset. If you value Hotel Elite status, then you can also offset the annual fee with your savings. Let's say that you put a price tag of $30 per morning on free breakfast for 2 people. Well, if you were to have, let's just say 4 stays in a year, that's $120 worth of free breakfast you've been given just like that. So that annual fee is completely offset, not to mention the value you might put in other benefits like upgrades or late checkout. And then you can't forget about the Priority Pass, which again will easily offset the annual fee if you just use it a handful of times, as a lot of times you can value those lounge visits at around $30 per visit. So I think that this card offers a whole lot of value that you can get and easily offset that annual fee.